Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name's Dr. Nick Arndt. I'm a fourth-year psychiatry resident here at U of A Tucson in Arizona. I am one of the chief residents. It's great to meet or see all of you again.
It's good to see you too. I'm Amanda Freitas, and I am also a fourth-year psychiatry resident here, as well as a chief here at the University of Arizona-Tucson.
Today, we are going over our welcome to the residency slideshow that we give for any applicants to our program. So if you've already interviewed here, you might be familiar with this slideshow. We just wanted to have it up online in case you have questions about what program had what fellowship, who has ECT, because we know it gets really confusing by the time of the interview season. So I'm going to go ahead and change my settings real quick. Amanda, can you see that okay?
Yep, perfect.
So just to talk about what we are presenting today, what matters in a residency program, we're going to just big picture what we're talking about, the training sites that we work at, the didactics that we go through here, the culture of the program, just from our perspective, you can get a sense of the vibe or the feel of our program. We'll talk about the vacation, benefits, and moonlighting, and the city of Tucson. Interspersed through all of this, we're also going to have just some pictures of beautiful things to do in Tucson and interesting things in the community and the surrounding nature. Just a program overview, we were accredited in 1971. There were two programs in Tucson for many years up until 2016 when they combined, really bringing the best of both worlds together. We have 12 residents per year, and all of our requirements are met by the end of third year so that our residents can fast track into child and adolescent. We have a large academic center, and we also have the benefits of a strong community-based training, which I'll go into. And we were the first program to incorporate integrative psychiatry into our curriculum. So the training sites that you will be working at as a resident, these are the three main ones that we work at. So South Campus, this is the major hub, really. Our building is fairly new within the past decade, and psychiatry is the largest service in this South Campus hospital. The South Campus is commonly known to be like a community-based hospital, kind of a community or county hospital feel. And this draws many SMI patients, also many involuntary patients. We actually have a courtroom for involuntary hearings that's attached to our hospital. And you'll get many opportunities to testify in court. We also have ECT, and we are now opening an ECT and transcranial magnetic stimulation suite. Another site that we work at is the VA system, Southern Arizona VA. There's many psychiatric services there. There's adult inpatient. This is different than the South Campus because at the VA, all of the patients are voluntary. There's also geriatric, detox, and electroconvulsive services there. And last but not least, you work at the Tucson campus, which is the big hospital. We don't have a dedicated psychiatric ward there, but we have many other services like transplant, level 1 trauma, full oncology services. So we draw a number of specialists and specialty services from the community and larger area to that hospital. And we work in both the emergency department and the consult rotation there. Other training sites that we work at, Sierra Tucson, this is a private hospital that offers residential and inpatient treatment. We also work at the Crisis Response Center, which is the Pima County hub for emergency services. Often patients or people who interact with law enforcement are first brought there for triage, and then depending on the acuity may transfer over to an inpatient hospitalization.
All right, so now we can talk about some recreational events that you can do here in Tucson. One of my favorite places to go in Tucson, especially when it's getting just a little bit too hot, is Mount Lemon. So as you can see here, there are plenty of fun things to do. It's about an hour drive up a mountain from the Tucson city in general. And as you can see here, you have access to some beautiful water. There's snow in the wintertime, excellent hiking and opportunities for camping. Here's a picture of a nice little campsite that our residents had in the past, making a bonfire and enjoying each other's company. All right, so it's time for us to talk about didactics. So Wednesday didactics are protected time, whether you are on service or off service. So even if you are on your internal medicine service, you get to tell them that you are excused from the afternoon and get to go to our psychiatry didactics. Didactics are generally from 12 to 5 and just giving you a rundown of what that time is like. The first hour is generally grand rounds, which is presented by either one of our senior residents, but mostly people from the community with a lot of really interesting topics, as well as our own faculty. Also, from 1 to 2, we have, it's a round robin different every time. We either have a meeting with our entire resident group and the chiefs, resident meetings with the program directors, res ed meetings, which are kind of these program-wide meetings for the faculty and staff to all get on the same page, and also journal clubs where people read journals and present their understanding and finding to get you more familiar with how to review important literature in our field. From 3 to 5, we generally have didactic material kind of held on many different topics from therapy to psychopharm, and generally they're just taught within your cohort of 12 residents, with some few exceptions. There are also some additional changes, just depending on your year, to the didactic schedule. PGY1s do have a mind-body medicine course, which is a mindfulness-based training for 10 weeks. That's from 4 to 6 p.m. So you'll actually be out from 12 to 6 will be your protected time for those 10 weeks as a PGY1. And PGY3s actually have a Thursday as well, which is a full day of didactics on therapy. So our psychotherapy training, as you just heard, is quite robust. In our outpatient setting, it has a large emphasis on our psychotherapy opportunities and mastery. We expect that our residents do 1 weekly CBT case and 1 weekly psychodynamic case. And so most actually have much more than that. We also have weekly didactics, as I said, in psychodynamic, CBT, and mentalization-based therapy, as well as process group, which you'll actually get to be a facilitator of as well. We also have psychodynamic case supervision with a psychodynamically informed therapist who will be guiding you through along the way, and a one-way screen to actually observe those masters at work. And we also have opportunities for psychodynamic fellowship and engagement with social worker or with the Southwest Psychoanalytic Society. There we go. Sorry about that. As far as inpatient, we also have some psychotherapy opportunities like DBT skills, supportive therapy, and motivational interviewing opportunities to observe and participate in group therapy.
This is some of the fantastic hiking in Tucson. Hiking and biking are commonly known as the main ways to recreate in Tucson. I won't go over any of these in depth, but Aravipa Canyon is known as really one of the classic getaways in the Southwest in general. And there is water there year round. This is Sabino Canyon, also one of the areas that has water just right outside of town. These are 2 of my friends just jumping into Hutch's pool on one of our hikes. I'm going to go over what the rotations are for first and second year. Essentially, first year we have half off service, meaning medicine or neurology, and half on service or psychiatric. So in the first year, we do 6 months of adult inpatient. Essentially, this is like the bread and butter rotations for psychiatry, getting your feet wet into the wide array of disorders that are on both our units at South Campus and over at the VA on the voluntary units. And then we have 2 months of inpatient medicine, being essentially a medicine intern, 1 month of emergency medicine, which is split between the two banner campuses at Main and South. 1 month of outpatient primary care at the VA, and 2 months of neurology experience. Second year is a much more broad experience. We have much more autonomy in second year. 2 months of night flow in which you don't have an attending present, but you always have an attending available by call, by phone call. We have 2 months of in-house consult and liaison. This is both at South Campus and Maine. We get our 2 months of child and adolescent experience, both at the CRC and at each of the consults and at UMC and outpatient at South Campus. There's geriatric psychiatry, detox, emergency. This is at the Crisis Response Center, kind of that mental health hub that we talked about. Tucson, and an additional month of being a senior on inpatient. As far as sports in town, we don't have any major league teams, but we do have the University of Arizona football and basketball teams. Our football team hasn't been historically that great, although there's hopes every year and the games are very fun. Our basketball team, if you follow college sports, is usually ranked quite highly and makes the tournament every year. Amanda?
All right. So third year rotations. So most of your third year will be spent in our outpatient clinic at South Campus. So this is a pretty new state-of-the-art clinic where you have your own office, which is really great. And you have access to MAs and psychologists. The MAs will get your vital signs and kind of greet your patients when they come in, take basic phone calls. But you'll be able to get and see your patients in your own office. Psychologists are great as they are integrated into the office, so you can reach out to them if you have any questions or if you want to formally consult them on one of your patients. We mostly see insured patients at varied levels of functioning, young adults, including students from the U of A and other people associated with the U of A as well, which is pretty awesome. And there are generous appointment times. You won't be expected to see patients, in the 15-minute slots, as you may in the community. As we're focusing on learning, you get up to 50 minutes for a follow-up appointment and well over that for new patients, as well as having your supervisor there with you on new patient interviews in your third year. Additionally, there are many patient groups that your patient can be a part of. There's a mindfulness-based cognitive therapy group, a process group, and a mentalization-based group if your patient would benefit from any of those groups. In addition to you just carrying your usual clinic load, there are also tracks that you can be a part of in your third year. There's a perinatal clinic, which is very exciting, where they'll preferentially send you patients within the Banner South Clinic that meet this, that are within this perinatal period, for you to kind of help them with the very specific conditions that may occur during that time. Additionally, there's integrative psychiatric clinic, which helps you learn what sort of integrative modalities you may be able to use with certain patients that are open to this. Additionally, there's the VA outpatient clinic, where you'll actually go out to the VA for a half day per week and see patients in the outpatient clinic. And there's also the whole health clinic, which is patients that are usually uninsured or underinsured, where you can see them for a half day per week at that site as well. And so in our fourth year, we have many other opportunities. We do have some required rotations, such as working at the VA and South Campus as a junior attending, and also being a CL junior attending, and then working in ECT and carrying an outpatient load of at least 8 hours per week with your patients. But on top of that, really, you get to choose your own adventure. There are a lot of different options. Some of them are listed here, including forensics, child and adolescent psychiatry. If you want to do more integrative, you want to work at our epicenter, which sees early psychosis patients. There's the St. Elizabeth, which has the low cost, underinsured outpatient clinic with a lot of Spanish speakers. There are a lot of different options for you. You can do research during this time as well. It's really an opportunity for you to figure out where you fit into the field of psychiatry and explore that a little bit more. Additionally, there are some research opportunities that you can do in your fourth year, as I alluded to. Here are some of the options with our many esteemed faculty members on many different opportunities, from kind of how psychology and psychotherapy relate to our neurobiology, from integrative research, from how psilocybin can affect patients with OCD. There's a lot of opportunities here. And then additionally, once you've completed your training, there are many opportunities for fellowships right here at the University of Arizona. You can fast track into our child and adolescent psychiatry program. That means finishing your first 3 years, and then you'd be able to apply during your
I know what fast track is.
Oh, well, probably. Okay. So there are 2 positions per year in the child and adolescent psychiatry position or psychiatry fellowship. There's also forensic psychiatry, geriatric psychiatry, integrative psychiatry, and addiction. And we've had a 100% fellowship match rate since the program's inception.
We should note that our forensic psychiatry fellowship is on pause right now. We don't have a forensics director. I anticipate that'll be filled again soon, but since there is an opening, we're not matching into forensics this year. Tucson recreation. As mentioned, cycling and mountain biking is one of the big draws of Tucson. Seen in the top right is a photo from Mount Lemmon, kind of this big mountain landscape just outside of town that has a beautiful road that you can bike up, and it's ranked as one of the best rides in the country. There's also a lot of mountain biking available. This is my bike packing rig from camping out on a mountain bike up in the foothills there. And some interesting wildlife. I'm going to talk real quick about the culture of the program. This is hard to talk directly about. I'll do my best to give a sense of what it's like to be a resident here. I think the main thing to say is just that there's certainly, supervisor and resident levels, but we're not very hierarchical. I think we do have a fairly casual approach to education and teaching. Obviously, we demand a fair amount out of our residents as far as patient care and obligations of work, but our attendings are really accessible. These are a few of the attendings just hanging out. This is our program director, who you probably met. I think all these residents just happen to wear plaid or the same patterns on the same day. Our work-life balance in Tucson or at this residency is really great. On average, we work about 45 hours per week. And our call requirements in the first, overall, they decrease over the year. In your first and second year, it's about 17 total over 12 months, which would be, working Saturday for either 10 hours or 12 hours. And then in second year, it decreases, and third year, it decreases again. And fourth year, there is no call over the weekends. Average commute time to hospital is about 20 minutes. I would probably contest that and say it's more like 12 for most of us. It's a pretty small city, and it's very easy to get around to the hospitals. Some of the offerings that we have for resident wellness, we have mental health services through the GME. If you would like to talk to a psychiatrist or a therapist, these are persons that aren't associated with our department that are available for residents. There's a process group, which is confidential among the residents. We have wellness events. Essentially, Our banner will pay for up to $50 per physician per event. So you can go out to eat kind of on the banner dime, as seen here. This looks like Ventana, the resort up north that everybody got a breakfast at. We have a Jeopardy system for backup if people need to take a day off, if they're feeling overworked or need a break. We have 10 sick/wellness days per year, and we do encourage our residents to take a wellness day if they're just feeling overworked and unable to focus adequately on their work. And as we mentioned before, there's a mind-body medicine group during the first 10 weeks of the year, essentially teaching mindfulness, biofeedback, resiliency trainings. Amanda, I think you pick it up here.
Sure. So this is, you know, an important facet of our resident culture is that we're very understanding and facilitative of residents and their families. Many of our residents, while they've been here, have either been parents as they've been joining us or have become parents during their time here. And our program offers maternity and paternity leave, which is quite generous. And there are many fun opportunities and local events that you can bring your families to, as well as always nice to see them here at our residency program. So one particular accomplishment of our program is that we participated in the Mind Games challenge, which is offered by the APA annual meeting. So we scored a certain score on our PRITE, which allowed us to participate in this event. And we actually got the second place in this national live competition. It's kind of a—
We were gonna win it this year, but it got canceled.
Yes, unfortunately. Okay, so community mental health advocacy is pretty important to our particular residency group. We really care about these certain populations and we love to support them. So we do offer asylum evaluations where you can actually do some psychiatric evaluations as well over there. There's Native American mental health, there's NAMI involvement. You can get involved in several different other walks and other important events. Here are some of our residents enjoying some of those events. Here are some at a table that we had at Tucson Pride, as well as some after the NAMI walk. Okay, and another fun thing about Tucson is you think about the desert, you think about no rain at all. What's really fun for us is in August, we have these beautiful monsoons that come blowing into the desert, the most amazing light show that you could ever imagine, all for free. Lots of wonderful rains and lightning storms that you can enjoy kind of going over the mountaintops. Other than that, we have many, many sunny days. So don't let that interrupt your hiking schedule. As you can see, many of us enjoy those sunny days together.
In any normal year, we get 90 to 95% of our rainfall between June and September. So our winters are remarkably dry and warm. I'm going to talk about the vacation and benefits real quick. Our current BGY1 salary is $58,000, and that's expected to increase annually. We have 20 vacation days per year, and in addition to that, we have 4 conference days for PGY2s through 4s. During first year, you get 2 days to take your step 3, which we do to encourage all of our first years to knock that out right away. We have a 401k match up to 4% after the first year. Parking is free. We get a meal card for meals. It depends on what year you are because of the call shifts, but that can range from $300 to, you know what the most we get is, Amanda? Like $1,200 or?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Well, 1,200. And we also get book allowance to be able to pay for books and to help out with conferences. Healthcare benefits are included at no cost, and our residents are really very happy with the health insurance. Our other chief had a child recently, and I think her out-of-pocket was $20. For moonlighting opportunities, the Moonlighting in our program is allowed in your second year after taking the in-service exam, the PRITE. So essentially come January in your second year, as long as you're in good standing, you can moonlight. You can do that on a training license without going anywhere. Essentially, you just sign up for shifts on the weekend at South Campus, and you would do essentially inpatient adult psych over the weekend and have phone supervision for $100 an hour. If you get an outside license, like your own medical license, then you can work at these other places. I think that these hourly rates are a little bit out of date. They're probably 50% higher now. Amanda, I think this one's you.
Okay, so another important thing for you to know about coming to Tucson is it has the best Mexican food you could possibly imagine. Here's some wonderful pictures of the foods that you can enjoy. We have this local cuisine called Sonoran dogs that have hot dogs with beans and other delicious adornments, as well as bacon. There's also the Sace Kitchen, which has delicious tacos, from vegetarian to any meat you can think of. There's also the El Charro Cafe, which is one of our oldest restaurants here in Tucson, and beautiful places to dine al fresco, like La Cocina. Okay, so a little bit about Tucson, the city you could potentially be moving to. So our population is about 500,000. The larger metropolitan area is about 1 million. And one of the wonderful things about moving here is that it's highly affordable. Cost of living is slightly below average. Average rent is $600 to $900 per month for a 1-bedroom, and median cost of a home is under $200,000. So it's very affordable. Many of our residents, especially given our salary, live quite well and have a lot of additional money to spend on delicious cuisine, as you can see to the right, like Tumarico.
And
it is
own a home. Many of us own a home too.
Exactly, yes. It's also rated as a top 5 city for millennials by Time Magazine. And so, as we said, also there's a lot of options. It's actually considered a world city of gastronomy. And it's one of the only cities, or it is the only city in the United States to earn this distinction. So Tucson itself, like we said, has many sunny days, 310 plus to be exact. The average annual temperatures are 84 and lows are 58. Very rare snow, I will say. There was one day a couple years ago, but again, extremely rare.
A freak snow incident for one day.
Freak snow incidents are possible. But if you love snow, well, you don't have to go so far. As we were talking about Mount Lemmon a few minutes ago, you can actually drive up there. It's about an hour drive up north or up to the mountain. And so you can experience some snow and skiing up on Mount Lemmon. And, the rest of the year down here, you can hike, mountain bike, camp, rock climb. There's also great biking. It's the #2 bike-friendly city by Forbes, and there's this 120-mile loop of paved cycling paths that you can go on.
Have you done that one before, Amanda? The full loop, full 120?
I have not. Have you, Nick?
Yeah, I've tried that out. We're about to wrap up. Just more looks at some of the fantastic cuisine here. I know the buffet at Lowe's is one of the favorites of our residents. And I would say these brunch palaces in general are frequently visited on the weekends.
If you are visiting Tucson and it's your first time, you can tell Baja Cafe that it's your first time ever coming, and they'll give you a free snickerdoodle pancake, as you can see here in the picture.
This is a picture of me doing El Tour de Tucson. That's a big bike race in Tucson. No, I don't have a nose ring. It's interesting that it kind of looks like one there. And this is just a little slide about many of the things to do in Tucson, including breweries, which have been growing more and more. And now we have really outstanding craft beer, and many resorts, spas, and nearby casinos.
I recently went to the Air and Space Museum, and it's really a fun way to spend the afternoon. So lots of
We
fun
have a
things.
large Air Force base near town, so there is a little bit of Air Force things in the area. So there's many cultural events, including Day of the Dead, which is really the largest event that we have. This is a event that really originates out of Mexico, but given our Hispanic influences here in Tucson, that's widely celebrated, and many other cultures celebrated, including Pride here. The visual and performing arts, a lot of this is put on hold right now, but I've really enjoyed a lot of these theater companies for things to do and at a pretty reasonable cost here in Tucson. And there's a number of art museums to visit. Although we don't have huge art museums, I think that it's in the medium sized.
Yeah, the MoCA does have a rotating exhibit on different times. So even though it's the same art museum, different art will come in that you can see.
This is many of our residents hanging out. Pictured are essentially people from all of our classes. So if you do end up interviewing or matching here, you'll be meeting all the wonderful people pictured. Here's all the dogs. Real quickly, there are many things in Arizona to do. Arizona is a fun state to live in for even a few years because of all these natural beauties nearby. The Grand Canyon in particular, and Antelope Canyon pictured here. Sedona is commonly listed as, one of the ideal vacation spots, and that's really 3.5 hours away. This is our closest lake, about an hour away, large size lake.
Actually enough water for you to go in the water and go for a swim.
Yeah, we have community lakes around town, but nothing you want to like kayak around. All right, well, thank you for your interest in the University of Arizona-Tucson Psychiatry. Here is our contact information. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Please do.
Any final words of wisdom or?
I just want to let you guys know, as I'll probably let you know if you ever do meet me through the interview trail or elsewhere, that I love our program. I've had so much fun. It's really been a great 4 years of my life, and the major parts of, that you've seen in our PowerPoint, but also the people that I've met and the friendships that I've gained that will likely last a lifetime. So thank you for being interested, and I hope you join.
And if you've met me, you know that I've been in Tucson for 13 years. I'm a big fan of the city. It's a wonderful place to live. It's so balanced. It's so easy to get around. The cost of living is great. It's really an easy place to fall in love with. So I know in the virtual world, it's hard to get a sense of things, but we really hope that you give us a strong consideration. Thanks.
Thank you.